to the way things were. Get used to, and let's evaluate and strengthen.
Or, I'm sorry, Natasha, you said our other entities, our schools. Maybe we could have, maybe that young
See if he's able to join. Thank you. So we'll do that, and then Pastor Jaguna.
Hey guys, welcome to my work from home vlog. I was supposed to start this so much earlier. The day is already well underway. I'm in my third meeting of the day, and I realize I have not eaten a thing. So I am pausing for a little bit of a breakfast snack. I really had the intention of making myself this great breakfast sandwich and, you know, setting up the vibe and writing in my daily planner. And none of that happened so far, but I'm hungry. So we're actually going, this is my favorite yogurt. It's not the healthiest, but I just love it. I added a little granola in it. I added a little chia seeds, flaxseed, and this is my go-to quick breakfast. I'm still going to do the sandwich, but it'll probably be for lunch because I'm in a meeting right now. But yeah, that's what I'm doing on my work from home day. I'll talk to you a little bit more about how I feel about work from home days when I get out of this one. Meeting, that is. Got my chia seeds here. I like to sprinkle a nice little helping of chia seeds in here. I don't really measure it. This, I do stir it in so that the chia seeds can kind of soften up a little bit. I also put in some of the milled flaxseed. You know, I like to add the healthier elements. I feel like yogurt is one of those things that you can do that too. And it's an excellent source of fiber, right? And of course, chia seeds have all kinds of nutritional benefits. So, and I love incorporating these two elements because they don't really alter the taste too much. If anything, to me, it enhances it. So, typically I let this sit at least for an hour or so. I'm gonna let it sit for a couple of minutes just so the chia seeds can expand and do their job. And then I'm gonna come back, add some granola, and we're gonna have this off camera. And I gotta sneak back in there before they call my name. You guys know how that is. Anytime you step away, that's when they call you. All right, so we're coming back to this. All right, we're back in the meeting.
All right. If there's nothing else, then we'll all be working together because we are the stakeholders. We're the ones that are building.
All right, guys, the meeting is still going on. So I grabbed my little yogurt, grabbed my granola. I like to get the protein, oats and honey. I've gotten so used to it now that I prefer it over regular granola. Trying to have a high protein diet. Have my daughter Kaden to thank for this. Oops, you can't even see. You gotta see me pour the granola, right? So of course I have my camera off. I try to keep my camera on certain meetings, but obviously when I'm eating, I try not to do that. So time to turn the meeting back up so I don't miss my name.
They're planning, which will go over the process of preparing one's church, setting up the church, how to do Bible studies.
All right, guys, finally signed out of that meeting. So just to catch you up on the day so far, I actually got up around 5-ish. And I knew I was going to work from home today. Oh, let me talk about working from home, first of all, before I go through what I've done so far today. So I'm kind of probably one of those people that is not as much a fan of working at home as I am in the office. And I know that's kind of an unpopular position. But for me, I enjoy going into the office. And as a director, which is my full-time job. I'm a communication director for a nonprofit organization. I am not required to go into the office every day. We're open 4 days a week. However, for the most part, I tend to go into the office almost every day. On some occasions, I don't go on Thursdays, which today is. But one of the reasons why I actually prefer going into the office is because it allows some structure in the amount of time that I'm allotting to work. If you have workaholic tendencies like me, then sometimes when you're at home working, you don't know when to turn it off. And if you get up in the morning, you know you're working from home, you can actually start earlier and go later than if you go to the office. When you leave the office, you know you can put it away. Even though still sometimes I bring work home. You can't get away from it with the job that I have. So I kind of like going into the office to kind of help create some boundaries for my workday. But I also like interacting with my assistant in person and just being able to talk about things real time. Now, that's not to say that sometimes we don't do that virtually. Zoom and other platforms allow you to do that. But that's just me. I kind of like that in-person interaction, which is why I prefer going into the office most of the time. However, today I had some other things I needed to do, and my assistant was out of the office, and so I said, okay, today will be a work from home day. So that's why I am here. And today was the first part of the day. At this point, just give you guys a timestamp, it's 12:09. At this point, I have literally been in 3 back-to-back sessions. Because I work for a religious organization, one of the things that we do every morning at 9:00 is have office worship together. And that's virtual. So we come on, there's someone who gives us an inspirational message. We take prayer requests, we play music, and I'm responsible for playing the music. And so that happens usually from 9 to 9:30. So I was doing that today. Ran a little longer today, so it bumped right up against a meeting that I had at 9:30. So I literally had both meetings going on. One was on my phone, one was on my computer, and we were juggling both because of my responsibilities with the other one. And then that second meeting that I was on bumped into my next meeting that was at 11. So we went from 9:30 to 11. And now I just got off that 11 o'clock meeting. So I haven't even gone through my normal process. And it's my fault because, once again, when you're working from home, you feel like you can get some other things done before your workday starts, right? So after making my daughter her breakfast and her lunch, I decided I wanted to make a dessert so that it can be appreciated later on. And so I really bumped myself up against my little schedule. But typically, what I like to do, and you'll see here, this is my planner, which I'll be talking about in another vlog. What I appreciated about my planner this year, as well as the new planner I intend to use. But I like to map out my meetings. So you'll see all of the meetings that I just referenced already written down here. I usually try to do this at the beginning of the week or the day before so that I know what to anticipate for the next day, and also some to-dos, which I need to add to. So what I typically like to do is start my day by looking at my to-do list and determining what do I want to get done today and writing those things out. So the only things I currently have on here are things that I definitely knew I didn't want to forget that I put in yesterday. But I do have some other items that I want to add to this. So I am going to spend a little time updating that. Thursdays are the day that we typically send out our newsletter, our e-newsletter. And so my assistant and I work on that. I put in all elements that I needed to. Typically, she'll let me know when she's formatted things, and then I can go in and review it. So I have to add that to my list to review the newsletter so that it can go out today. That's definitely always a Thursday type of thing. Tomorrow, I'll be recording a podcast. We have a weekly podcast. And so we're recording this week for the Sunday podcast because we'll be traveling. So I definitely I like to read up on the subject matter that we'll be discussing. So I've allotted some time to do that. And then I also have on here kind of a personal task to call the dentist. A lot of these things, if I don't put them on my to-do list during the day, in the evening, by the time I get home, either the businesses are closed or I forget about it in a time frame that can really make sense for what I need to have done. But also later today, my daughter has an orthodontist appointment around 3:15. So I want to make sure all of these things that I just listed, I want to get done between that time frame. I really don't like leaving the house or interrupting my day without getting some of the major tasks that I have on my list done. And of course, there are other small tasks. I've responded to emails. I've done some of the deliverables from the previous meetings that I was in. I try to do those things while I think about them. I don't necessarily put them on the to-do list because I can do them quickly enough that they don't need to go on my to-do list. So yeah, that's what we've been up to so far. The day is half over. It's not, but it feels like it. So I'm going to spend a little time. I'm going to call the dentist because that's the easy thing I like to get the easy things out of the way. And then I'm going to do some research on this podcast and wait for the time to review the newsletter. All right, let's get to it. And
All Smile Dental is not available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone. Press the pound key to end recording.
hello, my name is Latasha Hewitt, and I was calling to schedule some cleanings for our family. Me, Latasha Hewitt, my daughters, Amar. Okay, I just messaged my assistant about the newsletter, and she sent me a test to review. So typically when I am reviewing the newsletter, I go through and read the text, make sure the headings look the way that I feel like they should, take out unnecessary words. That's what I tend to do when it comes to editing things. I always feel like less is more, simple is better. And so that's usually what I do. Sometimes I check the links. We always have this joke like, make sure you check the links because sometimes I'm just more of a word person. I forget to do that. And sometimes things can be linked to old items. So definitely make sure we do that. And then also kind of reviewing the stories from our website that are linked to the newsletter. And so what happens if I ask her to do something, she'll create a draft. I'll go read the draft, make my tweaks, then we publish it. So she just indicated that there are a few things that she wants me to review before we publish. So I'm going to go in now. I'm logging into the website now to look at those items. Give my 2 cents. Okay, I see that there. All right, guys, so I just decided to take a little break. I finished proofing the newsletter and sent my edits to my assistant, so she's making those. I'll probably review it one more time before it goes out. But I decided that for lunch, because that yogurt is gone already, I'm gonna go ahead and make the breakfast sandwich I intended to make for breakfast. And I'm gonna use the Morningstar Farms. For those vegetarians out there, you're probably very familiar with this brand. We go way back. I've been a vegetarian all my life. So really, I really like the sausage patty. So I'm gonna make a sausage patty. I'm just gonna throw it over there in the air fryer. And I'm going to just scramble a couple of eggs and toast some bread. And that's gonna be our easy breakfast, lunch, brunch, whatever you wanna call it for today, so. All right, guys, so just to give us an idea of time, it's now 12:58. So we're going to go ahead and put this little sandwich together. So we have our scrambled egg. I'm just gonna place here on the toast. I used to butter it, but you know, it's just extra fatness. And I don't find that it impacts the taste that much anyway with something like this. Oops. And another thing I usually do, let me not be lazy and get a knife. I usually cut my little patty in half this way, just so I can spread it across. If you haven't tried these veggie sausage patties, give it a try. I feel like it's pretty good for those people that are not really sure about like meat alternatives. I feel like it has a good flavor. But then again, I have nothing to compare it to. Just take my word for it. I'm gonna finish, eat the sandwich. Sarah Grace. I usually don't actually take a lunch break. I usually eat my lunch while I do work. I just feel like I'd rather get all my work done and then enjoy my time. But I'm trying to do better at taking those breaks because I do find that it helps having that mental break to be able to come back to certain tasks. I also thought hubby would have been here for lunch. He comes home for lunch a lot. Oops. Yeah. Anyway, so we're gonna eat this. Do the next thing on our task, which is to do some research for the podcast tomorrow. And then that will be great because the major things will be done before we have to go and pick up my daughter for her orthodontist appointment. Yummy. All right, guys, so a little time check. It is now 2:14. I've been reading a little bit on the topic that we're covering for the podcast. I took a little break from it because it's a heavy topic, but it's also just a lot of information, and I have to allow myself processing time when I'm consuming a lot. So I just kind of moved on to some other tasks. As I often do, I have a show playing in the background. I've been a long time fan of Married at First Sight. So I kind of have that on another tab while I am giving one last overview of the newsletter before we send it out. And I will need to leave here to pick my daughter up for her orthodontist appointment. I have to pick her up for 2:45. So I need to leave here around 2:20. 2:25. So I need to hurry up. So long gives me 10 minutes, but it shouldn't take me that long to review. So yeah, we're gonna do that. And the next time you probably see me, I'll be making my way to the car, in the car on my way to pick up my daughter. All right. Hey guys, we are in the car. I realized I was a little behind my estimated time to leave, so it's 2:35 now, and I'm supposed to pick my daughter up at 2:45, so I'll be a little late to do that, but her appointment is not until 3:15, so I did give myself a little bit of a buffer. So I'm picking her up. I don't even know if I should, or you probably, if you watch the channel, then you'll know that my daughter attends a boarding academy. So that's why I'm picking her up to take her. And I'll I'll drop her back off to campus. And speaking of her, I cannot believe that my daughter is going to be a 16-year-old on the 21st. They grow up so fast. But yeah, one of the things I do enjoy about my job is having this flexibility to be a mom and be able to take them to appointments when they need to, crafting my day in such a way where I can take these moments to be there, take care of business. I reviewed the newsletter one more time, and it's scheduled to go out at 3 o'clock, so that's behind me. I was able to pretty much check off everything on my list. So once I get back home from taking her to this appointment, I will review some more emails, look over some of the information for the podcast recording tomorrow, and just kind of wrap up this week and anticipate some things for next week. All right, almost at my daughter's school, but I just got a call back from the dentist to make appointments for me and the girls. My husband usually makes his own appointments based on his schedule. So the earliest they could get me in, because they said I had not been there for over a year. I knew I'd been to the dentist. I guess I had. Anyway, maybe this is even embarrassing to share that January of 2023. I knew it had been a while since I had a cleaning. I think I'd gone for something else. But I didn't realize it had been that long. So when I go in 2025, it will be 2 years. And so I said to the lady, I'm like, I remember when you guys used to send us like reminder cards every 6 months. So, we can remember to get our 6-month cleaning. And she's like, yeah, we've kind of phased that out. I'm like, yeah, but that was such a good service for your customers. And I guess the onus is on us now to do that. But I always thought, why wouldn't you want to remind someone of their appointment so that you can guarantee, that you have them locked in at least for 2 procedures each year? Hey, I'm not a dentist, but I just think it's good business practice. But anyway, so we did get that checked off and scheduled, so I'm happy to have accomplished that to do for the vlogging. Fixing my teeth. Yes! I hope they have some good news.
I hope we have school tomorrow.
Yeah, they probably will. Today's not the day to wear a weave. Ready for finals?
I feel like I will be.
Good, huh?
Well, I need.
Well, guys, it's getting dark outside. It is now 4:50, and we're wrapping up our work from home day. The appointment took way longer. My husband's whistling out there. Way longer than I thought. But the good thing about having a phone, you always have like a mobile office. So I was able to respond to emails, make a few calls while I waited for her to go through her appointment. Now I'm just going to wrap up with a few more responses before we end our official work from home day. Well, thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for something different. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Take care, everybody.